Ebullient greetings. I'm your host, Jacquie Bird of Jacquie Bird Spiritual Wellness, your guide to stress and anxiety relief, mindfulness, awareness, self-care, self-love, and personal growth. Welcome and thank you for joining me as we roll with peace in mind. Today's riff is Are You on the Right Train? Riding on the Urge. These episodes feature people who are doing their thing, they follow their heart and their passion, and they create how they want, what they want, when they want, and they are riding on the right train. Today's spotlight is Angela Robinson. Angela Robinson is best known as the Ice Queen Veronica Harrington of Tyler Perry's The Haves and the Have-Nots. Angela has worked on Broadway, off-Broadway, and on stages throughout the U.S. and abroad. Hey, everybody. I am so geeked up. I'm always geeked up. I know. I'm always saying for every interview, I always say I'm geeked up, but I am. I'm especially geeked up because I'm talking to my sister friend, the wonderful Angela Robinson Whitehurst.
Oh, yay! My good girlfriend, Jacquie Bird. What's up, Bird?
Girl, you know, I'm going to ask you, Ange, to tell folks where you're from and what you are doing right now.
Okay. I'm Angela Robinson Whitehurst. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, born and raised. Been living in the New York area for too long to mention. But I do think of myself as a New Yorker, even though I live in Jersey right now. But you know what, Jacquie, you too. I mean, even though we live in Jersey, I think of myself as a New Yorker.
Same here. Brooklyn girl. I am always a Brooklyn, and will always be a Brooklyn girl.
Will always be a New Yorker. Even, I live in Jersey for grass and trees, and no hating on Jersey. That's just how it is. Our industry is there, I think. And I'm at home like everyone should be.
Yes.
For our heroes, our essential workers who have to go out every day. God bless them.
Yes.
Pray for them every day. But I'm at home and happy to be at home talking to you.
Ange and I met on the Broadway show Play On. And I'm laughing because I remember, Ange, when it hit that we had a connection, a Jacksonville connection.
You remember? Oh, you remember that? Okay. Because I remember when it hit that we had just a connection. But tell me about the Jacksonville connection.
I don't know if you had spoken to my cousin Conrad. It's deep that Conrad would be the one basically to bring home that connection for us. And I'm referencing to a cousin of mine, Conrad, who passed away very, very early in his life. Conrad was, for me, because I don't know my mother's family, he always reached out to me, and it was important for him to make sure that I knew who my mother's family was. So the fact that he was the one to, I think, bring home the connection between you and I is just fitting. I think it was a delayed reaction, and then you realize, wait a minute, your mother was from Jacksonville.
I remember when all of that happened. Yeah.
So, there are no accidents and we are all connected.
Yeah.
We met during that show. I just want to say, for someone that is aware of some of the struggles in your journey as an actor, as a performer, I could not be more proud of what you have achieved and what you are achieving. Knowing that rocky road and knowing that there was a point where you almost were going to step away for a minute, right? Okay, so now I'm going to leave that on the table. I'm going to back up. From Jacksonville.
Yes.
Did you always know you wanted to be an entertainer, a performer?
Yes. When I was 10 years old, my mom took me to work with her. She was directing the senior class production of Bye Bye Birdie.
Oh.
And I would have to, after school, meet her at her job and sit in the bleachers and watch. And I learned every lyric. Bye, bye, Birdie. You're gonna. I learned the whole thing. And I would go home at night and ask my mama to play the album. My son is 2 and he has a favorite song now. And I know what that feels like because I was that at 10 years old. Play it, mama, play it. And I could just listen to it all day. I knew all the lines, all the lyrics. I did not know at 10 that was a viable career choice. I just knew that I loved it, and I knew that that was something I would do. I thought I would do it at church or at school, but I didn't know that I could be that. I walked around talking about I'm gonna be a teacher and all this, all the other things, So it wasn't until much later, really even after college, that I felt bold enough to say, I want to be an actor.
Really? Between 10 and that moment of you claiming that you wanted to be an actor, what happened in the middle? Were you taking classes?
My parents made a deal with me. You can't major in theater, but you can take as many classes as you want. So I was always in theater classes. I was in a play or a musical every year at college. Lord knows, I don't know how I graduated with a degree in sociology, because all I wanted to do was perform and act. And I was always there, but I still did not think it was a career choice that I could pursue. I didn't have the support of my parents, which meant a whole lot to me. And I knew that I wasn't built for the struggle.
That's real. That is real. That is some real talk right there.
I was like, I don't want to live like that, because I knew that it was tough. It was hard.
Yes, boy.
And so it was really even after college that I started doing community theater and dinner theater, and got my equity card.
Wow.
And, got my equity card on my first professional job. And the guy who owned the dinner theater, Todd Booth, a mentor of mine to this day, he said, I should not give you your equity card. It was Ain't Misbehavin', and because Ain't Misbehavin' has a very small cast, everybody had to be equity. And I was local, so I was cheap. So he said, he didn't have to house me or anything,
Right.
And so he said, I'm going to give you your equity card. He said, I really shouldn't, because you don't want to be competing with equity actors at this stage in your career. You really do want to do non-union stuff so you can get more experience and more credit.
Wow.
And I said, okay. I mean, all I could see was I get health insurance and a nice paycheck. And I was like, no, make me equity, So he said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just hire you for the season so you could get some credits and get some experience, and I'm going to take you under my wing.
Wow.
And that's what he did. And he hired me for 2 seasons. I did every show, all the old greats, Singing in the Rain, Little Shop of Horror, all the greats. And I got to play some very fun characters. And at the end of it all, he said to me, the very next season, I said, what are we going to do next season, boss? And he said, I'm not going to cast you in anything next season. And I said, why? What did I do? And he said, if I keep casting you, you'll never go. And it's time for you to go. You should go to New York and really do that.
Oh my God. That just gave me chills. For listeners that have no idea what equity is, Actors Equity Association is the union for theater performers. And it is a must currency to have. That equity card is gold in your hand. But what an incredible human being.
Oh my goodness. He's still one that I cherish and adore, because when everyone else was saying it's a pipe dream, you don't need to do. I also was, at the time, I had gotten a job a long time ago. It used to be very big, the Barbizon Modeling School.
Oh yes.
And I was teaching there, and then I'd gotten very high up in the company. And so it was for my parents and my family to leave that job.
Right.
That good job,
Right.
That good job to go to New York just in pursuit of a dream was didn't make sense. I was raised by practical parents, and I think I've been a dreamer my whole life.
Wow.
So I didn't really have that push to go. I was going to make it work. I was going to perform at night and do my good job, during the day. But then I read a book called In Pursuit of Purpose. And it was by the late Miles Monroe. He's a very famous pastor from the Bahamas. He's passed away. But I read that book and it just all clicked that, this isn't just something I like. This is the reason why it's bubbling so heavy in me is that I'm purposed to do it. Yeah. I'm supposed to do it. And it doesn't really, it has a lot to do with being an artist, but it has to do with sort of the group of people I was built to serve. If that makes sense.
Girl, that makes more sense than anything. That because I think people, well, I shouldn't say I think, I know that people get hung up on what's considered a dream and what's considered practical. And you get squeezed in that and you end up being miserable. Because you are not following that thing that's bubbling up within your being that must come out. And you have to trust, because the thing about it is, here you had this desire, but you didn't have the support. You didn't have you didn't have the team. You had the desire. Here comes somebody into your life, and it's never by chance, y'all. Somebody comes into your life that recognizes everything in you. Sees the potential. See, that's what makes a teacher a fierce teacher. You see the student where they are, you see them where you can take them, and you see them where they're going to be all at once. As you're looking at that person, you see all of their trajectory within that face. And so here comes somebody to recognize that in you. But he did you even better. What's that saying? You can give somebody fish, but it's better to teach them how to fish. That's what he did.
He did.
He gave you some fish, but then he taught you how to fish, which is how you make your way. And so if you are out there, folks, especially now while you on lockdown, and you got a dream, don't allow anyone to tell you what's within you. There is no way they can tell you what's within you. They're not you.
They're not you.
So you have to trust that whatever this thing is, and I love that analogy, Ange, of it bubbling up. You have to trust that there are people that are going to see you. They're going to see that light around you, and they're going to go, you, come here. Here's some information. Here's a job. Go talk to so-and-so. You will get what you need. But you gotta be true to you.
Oh, that's good stuff. It's true. It's true.
It's just, and I mean, I've as your friend, I've watched you be true to you.
I pray so, because I mean, the years of not being, it's wasted time. And now, of course, we grow from it, and we learn a lot from it. But I just want to keep people from that part. I'm just like, the more, because he loved me that way, and I don't even think he would think of it as love. He was just, he probably, when I talked to him, he doesn't even remember doing it. He was just being a good person. You know what I mean? But that's what I try to be to people. I try to see them and encourage them in their dream. And the one thing I always remind myself is I do not have to understand it. Because if I understood it, then, if it's been done a lot, they tried to explain it to you. It's unexplainable.
That's right.
So all you have to do is just, when someone says, I got this idea, something, I do it. Just do it. I'm standing with you. I support you. If you want to explain it to me, I'll listen. I'll try to understand, but you don't even have to explain it to me. If it's bubbling up in you, then it needs to be brought to the world. The world needs it.
Absolutely. All right. You come to New York. You're working, and it's funny because I remember Barbizon. Y'all, I know y'all are like, Barbizon.
I know. We giving it away now.
Honey, we giving it away. We're a little bit older than 20. Just a little bit.
Just Just a little bit.
That's a little bit, just a little bit. Barbizon was basically a finishing school. It was a modeling school, and a lot of women went there to work on, even if they weren't going to become models. It gave you, it was kind of like going to Motown when the Supremes and all of them were doing their thing. Yeah. It was a finishing school. It showed you how to present yourself to the world.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so you come to New York, and did you work at a Barbizon here?
That was my first job.
Oh, okay.
When I got here, I thought, I'm going to get on at Barbizon in New York, and that'll be my job. And I did it for, I would say a couple of months. But what I realized was my old life was irrelevant here. Like I was pursuing my artistry here. I wasn't trying to do one job and another job. And I had saved well, because I was doing Barbizon and working in the theater with an equity salary. So I had saved well before moving here. And so I did Barbizon for a couple of months, and I realized I got to give this thing all I got. I got to give it all I got. And so I left Barbizon alone. So that was a part of my old life, and this is my new life. And even if I have to wait tables, at least that won't consume me. It won't be something that'll try to draw me. Yeah, I didn't do it very long here.
Wow. So 2 things. A, you got to learn when to let go and recognize that something no longer serves you. And what you said in terms of being drawn back in, because they were moving you up, right? Along the Barbizon was promoting you.
Yeah. But I had to, I find that's when you really have to just, some people would say step out on faith.
Yeah.
And I agree with definitely the stepping out on faith part, but that's when you really have to know, what did I come here to do?
Ooh.
And I did not come here. I was doing that at home.
Oh.
So what did I come here? What did I defy? Everybody that knew me, who said, I don't know if you should. What did I come here by myself? I'm subletting an apartment in the Village that I gotta walk up 5 flights of stairs to get to this tiny apartment. I don't know but 2 people here. The man I'm now married to. and another young lady that I lived with at a regional theater before I moved here. And so I didn't come all the way here to be sitting up in this apartment to work at Barbizon. I came here to be an artist. I came here for that. So if I don't give that all I have, even if I have to do some temping or whatever to pay the bills, but if I don't, I can't have to focus on anything else too hard, but being an artist. So, I definitely dedicated my time to be in class, to, be reading every day. Remember when Backstage was popular, I was in Backstage every day. I'd just be sitting in the Union when they had a lounge. Remember?
That's right.
I'd just be sitting up in there looking at people go, that's going to be me.
Wow.
Open calls all the time. It was the pursuit of a job was my job. I gave it everything. I moved in 92 and was on Broadway with you in 97.
Yes.
A lot of regional theater stuff, things that it didn't take long. Actually, even before I moved, Bird, I had already booked I came to look for an apartment to stay with a friend. And she did something. I was angry. I was so mad at her, the friend that I had done this regional theater production with. And we were roommates. And I was staying with her because she moved here right after. And she said, I signed you up for an open call just so you know what it's like. You could. And I was like, no, how dare you do that? I didn't come here to audition. I'm just looking. And really, I was mad at her, but really I was scared. I was like, I don't want to be just thrust out there like that. And that open call, before I even moved here, I booked it. And it was at Crossroads. Remember Crossroads?
Holy cow. Yeah, I remember Crossroads. So just to give a little background, well, maybe some of you have heard of things like a cattle call. That's an open call because everybody can go. You're not union. And usually there are hundreds of people that go to this call, and you flipping booked it.
I wasn't even living here yet. I had to move quick. Like I booked a job. I had to go home and get my stuff. But you know what? It had to happen like that for me. So that I nobody could talk me out of it because I had a job. I was like, I gotta go. I got a job. And even my parents was like, you got a job. Even they were like, what? You got a job?
Because what's so great about this story is that doesn't happen to a whole lot of us. And the scenario that people have of being an artist is that you starve. Yeah, that happens to some extent, but
that happens too.
That does happen. I ain't gonna front, but you also have successes, and a lot of them. If you keep to your intention and your purpose, you end up writing out all of that stuff. But like you said, in terms of the way it played out. You were thrust. It was like, okay, you've been dreaming about this. Bam. Question though, did you ever work with, you said you got a degree in sociology? Did you ever use that degree?
Every day.
I got what she's saying about that. And that's real talk too.
I use it every day, but no, I never worked in the field, no.
That is real talk though, all the time. I love that. Yes. Yes and no. You weren't hired as one, but you've used those tools.
Definitely. Even in my acting work, having that time to study people and how we're socialized and how we interact in our society, it's what we do as actors. So it's really helped, and I kind of knew that when I chose it, because I was just like, what can I major in that's kind of gonna be,
Okay, I love that.
It's been a blessing.
So I know you probably wouldn't claim this, but I'm gonna put it on you. Angela's what we call in the industry a triple threat. And see, I knew she was gonna react like that. She falling back, but
not.
I'm gonna put it on her. I'm gonna explain what a triple threat is. Triple threat is a singer, dancer, actress. Okay.
You are the triple threat, my friend.
Oh, honey.
You are the triple threat. I have spent the better part of our friendship trying to convince you of that, but you are the triple threat.
Okay, I have to give a side note on that one, okay? When I decided to step out of the industry, if you could have seen how this woman looked at me in my house, when I handed her, I had all these stacks of sheet music that I gave her, and if you could have, you would have beat me into the ground. She would have beat me down into the ground. You were so pissed at me.
I told you I would take that music, but you getting it back when you come back to the business.
Oh my gosh, she was not having me, okay? Oh my gosh. But it's funny in terms of people coming into your life with messages and things like that. When I stepped out of the industry, I mean, you knew I was doing it partly because I was depressed.
Yeah.
Even though you were pissed at me, there was a lot of love in that and a lot of support in that, because it was like, I know you, and where are you going? When you... But you know what's funny? And this kind of goes to what you were saying earlier in terms of not having to understand what a person is seeing or what ideas they have. I didn't really have any ideas at that time. But I knew I had to, even though not in my brain, but in my being, I knew I had to step out.
Yeah.
And if I had not done that, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, I know. And I know that. You did come back to yourself as an artist, which is why what you're doing right now is even more effective, because you are still using your artistry. When you went through that, I think there's a dilemma that multi-talented people face, that those of us that can really only do one or two things, we don't have as much of a problem. It's like, what else am I gonna do? But multi-talented people who write and who decorate and who make herbs and make bracelets and make rings. Those people always, they always go through changes, because
we do.
There's so much they can do, so many options, and so much they want to do.
Yeah.
And, it's hard to figure out which one is the thing. I guess I think the people who do it best are those who don't try to pick, just kind of do what you've done and find a way to incorporate all of it.
That was a key for me. That was a turning point for me, is when I realized it didn't matter what I was doing. Background folks, between the period of me stepping out and me being and talking to you right now, I've done a billion different things. I traveled the world as a teacher. Anyway, I've done a lot of stuff. And I've had different businesses. And so what I realized was, and this was freedom, it didn't matter what I was doing. What mattered was that I was being creative.
Yeah.
And when I had that epiphany, it opened me up to even more stuff.
Yeah.
Sure did. But again, this all has to do with your dream, your drive. Your dreams change. The forms of your dreams change, and you have to be able to be fluid and to be able to go with that. So now I'm going to back up. Okay, you did Broadway, and you had like a really good agent, I remember. You were studying with William Esper.
Yes. I finished the program there. Mm-hmm.
William Esper is a big to-do in terms of acting technique.
Yeah, changed my life. You know what happened with the program? It was 2 years. Bill has passed away now, but he would not let me work in those 2 years. Yep, he said, you don't know what you're doing. Yeah, and I had some success. I think by that time I had done 2 Broadway shows.
Yes.
I think 3 by that time. So for you to say, I don't know what I'm doing, what you doing?
Exactly. Now, was that after Color Purple? Was that after you played Suge on Broadway?
No, it was before that.
Okay.
And he said, you're doing your same tricks every time.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, and they're gonna take you far until they don't. And you want to have a method to your work that will take you to any circle, to any role, and you'll be able to play it. So right now, if I let you work while you're doing this work here, you'll be going back there at night, perpetuating your bad habits, coming here, trying. He said, so you need to at least take it after a year. I'll look at it again and we'll see. So I did take that time off, but here's what happened. And I still do tricks, but but it's grounded in reality, and it's not just a high note, and it's not just nothing is arbitrary anymore. I think I know what happened in those 2 years is I went from, because I always wanted to be a performer, I always wanted to be an entertainer. I went from wanting to be a performer and entertainer to being an artist.
Ooh!
That's what happened to me.
Yes.
When I let it all go and let go of the high note and the big kick, and really, really looked at the creativity aspect and the truth of every moment, and how really sacred it is to create anything.
It really is.
Then I let go of all of being a performer to be an artist. And that was huge for me. I'm so grateful to Bill for pushing me to become an artist.
That is beautiful.
I think a performer is stuck, and it's wonderful. I think, performing is great, but you are in your own lane If you're a dancer and you're a performer, you're in that lane.
Right.
If you're a singer and a performer, you're in that lane. And those things are wonderful. But an artist breaks boundaries and goes in. Anybody looks at it and sees the artistry of it, and they don't have to be a dancer, they don't have to be in it. But they see it and go, whoa. And that's what sort of changes lives. That's what will change how we look at this pandemic. Artists change it all by something they write or something they dance, because they're looking at it from an artist's point of view and not from a look at what I did point of view. You know, that's my 2 cents.
No, but honey, that 2 cents, you could take that to the bank. That's 2 cents you can take to the bank. Because what's so profound to me about that is when you are a performer and like what you did, like the there's an emptiness about that. Because you are being peripheral. You're being on the edge of it. You're going for a thing, but it's not authentic. It's not originating out of you. It's a thing you're doing because you think that's how you're going to get a job.
Yeah, that's what everybody else does.
That's what everybody else does. Yes.
Yeah. That's what gets the big applause. But when it's coming from deep within you, out of a desire to tell a truth in your work, people can sit and watch and be mesmerized and be changed because they watch somebody. I've watched somebody play a cello or a violin or the piano or sing in a different language that I didn't even understand what they was saying. And just be just transformed by the artistry of it all.
That's right.
And that was always my goal. I can't say that I have succeeded at that. I think that's a lifelong quest, but that's just my goal. I just want to be an artist that my work causes people to feel something. It doesn't even have to feel great. I'm not trying to be I think I'm a minister in life, but I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to do church dramas, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
I just want my work to cause people to feel. What they feel is up to them.
Right.
I think church dramas kind of, they manipulate what you should feel.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with that either. I love that too, but I used to be over the drama at church, so I love that. But in terms of art, you don't want to manipulate anything. You just want to bring truth to your work, and hopefully people will get mad, or they'll be happy, or it'll make them cry. Doesn't really matter. I'm not here to manipulate what you feel.
Right.
I just hope that you do feel.
And the fact that you want to inspire people to feel through your art is a very sacred, holy thing, because it's about spirit. And, I think it's amazing how you were able to talk about that time with William Esper in hindsight.
I didn't think I could do that. I mean, but, also because I didn't major in theater. I didn't go to, even though I was in plays all the time, I didn't go to conservatory. It was a magical time in my life. I hosted at a restaurant to make money, and I hung out with all the students from the class, and we just worked on our scene. It was a magical time that I spent 2 years just being an actor. And oh my goodness, it was just, I'm gonna meet up with my partner and we're gonna do this reading of a new play. And it was like college, although I was old at that time. Wow. It was like I was given this gift of doing it again, doing college again, and really studying. And I never, when I worked with you, I'm just going to slide back just for a second. I spent that whole time, and the reason why I connected with you so well is one of them, many reasons. You just are one of the most inspiring people that I know. One of the reasons is I was scared the whole time. So scared. Now, if you remember, I was understudying 3 characters.
Yes.
This was my first Broadway show.
Yes.
And I was like, how am I understudying 3 leads? And oh my God, what if I mess up? What if, I would go home and just work it and read it and sing it. And I was scared because I didn't have that experience of being in conservatory and doing shows over and over and over and over. So, it was all still rather new to me.
Okay.
And you didn't see my fear.
I sure didn't.
You did. I think because you've always been, your intuition has always been really strong.
Okay.
You took care of me like you did.
Oh.
and you were always just, how you doing? Oh, how was rehearsal? You got to go on, but you're going to be great. I know you're going to be great. And when I would come back to the dressing room after having gone on, because we closed very early, so I only went on, I think, like twice or three times or something like that. But, when you go on for the audience, you get to be in the lead actor's dressing room for that time that you're on. And then when it's over, you go back to the chorus dressing room.
With the rest of us.
With your sisters. And when I would come back, you always had positive things to say and encouragement. And Jacquie, it just meant so much to me. So even though you may not have known I was scared, I think your angel Jacquie did.
Wow.
And so in many ways you were, because I was sat next to you, if you remember.
Yeah, I do.
So yeah, you were just that smiling face. And as artists, we tend to, everybody was wonderful. But I think when we're focused and we're putting together a new show, anybody got time to be encouraging?
True.
True. Everybody's trying to get their part.
True.
But you and my dear friend, rest in peace, Lawrence Hamilton, were those two people, who just really were always encouraging. Even Tanya Pinkins, so encouraging and loving. And I'll just never forget that experience, because I was a scared little girl trying not to let nobody see it.
Well, I think you did a good job of that. Didn't somebody say to you, "You're never going on"?
That happened at another show. When I was doing the Wiz of Oz, I was understudying Eartha Kitt. And Eartha Kitt said it was the national tour of the Wizard of Oz, and we were here doing the Madison Square Garden, and she had said that I would never get on, darling. You'll never go on. I don't miss shows, darling. She said, and then she ended up booking an Old Navy commercial. I don't know if you remember, Eartha Kitt used to be starring in those Old Navy commercials. Yes. And she had to go and tape that commercial, and I went on right here, Madison Square. I did it and had invited my friends, and it was amazing. She came back, she said, "Angela, darling." I said, "Yes, Miss Kitt," who I just, adored. She said, "I hear you did a good job." I said, "It was good. I had such a good time. Thank you so much. I had such a good time." She said, "Very good, because it will never happen again." Yeah.
Oh my God, what a great story. Oh my gosh. So when she was, I met her. I remember that was, we're talking about the great Eartha Kitt. So I'm going to fast forward. Okay. Because I could talk to you for hours. I'm going to fast forward.
I know, my baby waking up in about 10 minutes.
Okay. We're gonna wrap this. We're going to bring it around. But this is an important point that I want to tap. Okay, so she's done Broadway. You were understudy to Eartha Kitt. You got to go on in New York. And you're doing tours. And you're doing all this stuff. And then, bam, there was a wall.
Nothing. Yeah. I had a really pretty storied career up until, like I said, I came to visit a friend and booked my first, job. And that same year, I think I booked my first national commercial. I didn't even know what that meant till the checks started coming. I was like, why do you keep sending me checks?
That is precious. Everybody wanted to book a national commercial. You could buy a house with a national commercial. Oh my gosh, too funny. And even a side note, my whole career I've always done better when I didn't know. My husband, he liked to know. I want to know who's in the room. I want to know how many times. I go, I don't want to know none of that. Just tell me what time to be there, and I'll do my work. I've always tended to do better when I'm a little ignorant, but just a little bit.
But so years went by, and there were a lot of highs and lows. That's the nature of our business. There are peaks and valleys, and they are hard. They are, especially when you've had a high peak. That valley is tough. It's very hard. I think right after I worked with you, I got really sick, and that was a hard valley, but we came out of that. But the biggest one was I did The Color Purple and did it on Broadway, and ended up getting the national tour after that. And so I did it for altogether 5 years, 2 years on the road, 3 years on Broadway. And when you do a long run of something, you change throughout that run. You change, you get older, you get the person you were, you come out, you come back and you go, oh, that's how they doing it now? You know, you don't even know what the new way of singing is, or what the new, everything changes. The industry changes. You don't know where you fit in. Who am I? Am I the mother now, or the grandmama? Or when I left, I was still the sister, but now I'm the grandma. Things change. And so I came back off the road. I lost my dad during that time. And my mom moved in with us during that time. A lot happened, a lot of changes. Came off the road and couldn't book a job to save my life. Nobody had no room for me. Whatever I was doing, they weren't having it. It was just no, want to see her? No. I couldn't book. I went a year and a half with nothing. Not even a callback, sometimes not even any auditions, nothing. My pastor, we joined a different church, a smaller church. My pastor asked me, I did something for Black History Month, and he said, would you be interested in working for the church as the arts director and sort of bringing us to a different level in the arts at the church? I never thought about doing anything but being an artist. I don't mind waiting some tables and stuff, but a whole nother career, I had never had to give that a thought. I, like you, had figured out a way to hustle and make money. When when we were in the valley, sing wedding bands and, do other things. But to leave and do something completely different, it was scary. I thought, well, what if I can never come back? What if this is the end, of my career? And it was so bad and so slow, and money was so, tight, that I had to take that job. And fortunately, unlike a lot of churches, they were paying well for the job, so it wasn't just, can you donate a little time? It was serious. It was a job. And I took it. And it was also the best 4 years, something like that. And it was the best time too, because I was able to pour into other people and take my attention off myself and pour into other people and their dreams, and why aren't you doing that? And what, a lot of my people that I worked with now are, I call them babies, but they're not. One wanted to be a chef so bad, but she was pursuing something else. Now she's a big time chef with the Food Network, and another one is several pursuing acting. So it wasn't time wasted. It was wonderful. But in the midst of all that, in the midst of that slump, I went away to do before the slump. I went away when I did book one thing. I went away to do Into the Woods, and I didn't book it. Somebody recommended me. Adrian Lennox couldn't do it. And Into the Woods was a dream role for me. So I went to Atlanta to do that, and I played the witch, and it was a dream.
I love that show.
And that was right before the phone stopped ringing. And so the casting director for Tyler Perry Studios was in the audience and invited me to come and audition for Meet the Browns. And she loved the show and was very complimentary of my work in the show, and that was just amazing. So I went to Tyler Perry Studios to audition for Meet the Browns, and I just thought, oh wow, this is the turning point. This is it. I'm gonna get this part. And I didn't get the part, but I was disappointed. It was like one scene on Meet the Browns. I was very disappointed that I didn't get it. Came back home, and that's when the slump started. That's when no one called. That's when I started working at the church. All of those things happened. And I got a call like 2 years, a year and a half later, to audition for this new show that Tyler was doing for Oprah's network. They said, just do a self-tape. Casting director remembered you from a year and a half ago from Into the Woods. Just do a self-tape and send it in. Now, you and I both know doing a self-tape and send it in, it usually ends there.
Yes.
It's not,
Yes.
self-tapes they don't, a lot of times now, because we're in a different technological age, they yield work. But back then it was kind of
right.
like,
It's shot in the dark.
Yeah. But, Scott and I did it in the kitchen, right here in our kitchen.
I love it.
And I sent it in. And the next day they were saying, Tyler wants to fly you to Atlanta for you to audition in person. The next day, I was like,
wow.
What? And so I went to Atlanta, did the audition, read with the guy who now plays my son. And we had great chemistry, and it was a lot of fun. And from that moment, Jacquie, my life changed. So my message, I guess, to people is, if you can come out on the other side of your slump.
Yes.
It won't take but one phone call for your life to change.
I love
that.
We
just got to make it through your slump.
And
we all will have them.
Oh boy, and we'll have them more than once too.
Listen, I'll have another one. Now, my prayer is always that, I can make it through to come out on the other side of whatever the next, slump was. Yeah, we'll all have them. But that was really almost 2 years of nothing. Nobody. So don't think that nobody wanting you or nobody answering the call or nobody hiring you means that you've lost it.
Yes.
It just may mean that you need this break to do something else and to use your gift in a different way.
Yeah.
No, don't close the door on this gift. Just know that you may need this moment to use it in a different way. So that's how it worked out for me.
Oh my goodness. And I'm going to fast forward to seeing a post, I guess Facebook or Instagram, I forgot which one, where you're getting a star on Tyler Perry's Walk of Fame. Girl, that was just...
I think you texted me. And
I had to have texted you because that was just... I can't even describe or explain fully how I felt when I saw that. A lot of what Ann just shared with you, a lot of this I knew. I was aware of some of the valleys. So to know the valleys and to see the heights, because you stayed true to yourself. Because I remember when you were working for that church, I remember you talking about finding an aspect that you were enjoying because you were beginning to speak as a motivational speaker, which is another one of your love.
Yes, I love it. And I get to do it still a lot. So you know what? That 4 years of working for the church prepared me for this. So if now when people invite me to speak, it's like I was doing that. Yeah. So it's, and there's nothing arbitrary.
There's nothing arbitrary. That's what's so exciting about life. There is nothing arbitrary. And if you can wrap your brain around that, even if you don't understand the purpose at the time that is happening, it does serve a purpose. There's nothing that's, as Ann says, arbitrary. Everything falls into place. And you maybe find out years later, oh, that's what that period of time was about.
Yes. Oh my God. And and the thing that's so funny that you have this show now, because the thing that always sort of inspired me was that your valleys yielded always some new thing for the world to have. In your valley, you're like, oh girl, I'm doing greeting cards. I still have quite a few of them.
Oh, thank you.
Because I think I bought some opening night cards.
You did.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
So we went to a digital age. Right. And so I kept saying, when I do a show again, I'm gonna, give people these opening night cards. Yeah, I haven't done a show.
That's all right, Mama.
But yeah, your valleys, the silk wire jewelry, the knitting. I still have my dress you knit for me.
Oh my gosh.
I still have that. I will not get rid of that.
And I have the photo.
You did?
I have the photo in my bedroom of you in that dress, because that's the other thing that I'm grateful for you for. You have always supported my endeavors. You've always been supportive in that way. And I thank you so much for that. Because when I saw that picture, I had forgotten about that fishnet dress.
Yes.
I had forgotten
you know what?
About that.
That dress has always been goals for me because, when I go up and down weight-wise.
Woo, we go. I got some pants sitting up there now.
I always go, when I put on that fishnet dress again, I got to get in that fishnet dress.
I got me some pants sitting up in the closet right now that I'm like, we gonna get back in these pants.
Yeah,
I understand.
Usually you've always inspired me in using my valleys to see what I'm supposed to be doing in that moment.
Sometimes when you're sitting in that valley, you hear a little bit better than during the highs.
Oh my God, which is what we are in now, this pause, this moment.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes I get a little, I won't say offended, it's not offended, maybe defensive when I read posts or hear people say, during this time, y'all better be grinding at home. Y'all better be coming up with your next way that you're going to make money when you come. I'm like, child, please.
Yeah.
In this moment, sometimes just being quiet and listening is what, because some people are on, I'd say some people are on the front line right now. They're in the hospitals, they're essential workers, they're going out, they're risking their lives. So amazing. Some people on the front line right now, there'll be a whole nother group of people on the front line when this is over.
Yes.
And that's the spiritual front line. That's because there's going to be a lot of psychological heartache from this moment. People lost loved ones. People were very ill. People experienced a deep amount of loneliness.
Yes.
Depression, domestic violence. People in their house getting beat up.
Yes.
They can't go nowhere.
Yes.
So much so the frontline worker is going to look different when this is over. So if you don't take this moment to pause and listen to what your voice is going to be, and what you need to be saying, instead of trying to outwork out everybody, and trying to out digital post everybody. This is a pause. Take it. And
also, the thing is, we have a lot of heartache because people are dying, loved ones are dying. But the best way to honor these people is to live your best life, not to squander any time.
And there's some of us, like this isn't a rest moment for me. I have a 2-year-old. So this isn't, this is a lot of work moment for me. I have a 2-year-old and a 93-year-old.
Yeah.
So it's the busiest I've ever been, but in a very rewarding way. You don't realize when you're running around all the time what you've missed.
Can you say that one more time?
I would have missed out on a lot, and I was like, wow, he's only gonna be 2 once.
Yeah.
My mom is 93, so what a gift of time that I've been given to just look at him, and run after and fix a tantrum and kiss a hurt knee and a boo-boo, and I wouldn't have gotten that if I was running around. And I appreciate. I'm appreciative of this moment, and I'm also appreciative of whatever God is birthing in me.
Amen. Girl, I cannot thank you enough for talking to me. It's so beautiful.
I love you.
I get so geeked up when I hear an inspiring story. If you are one of the many, 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 many people out there who's working a job you hate, or following a career that no longer burns for you, begin to see what it is that you actually want to do. Write it down wherever you want to write it down. Write it on paper, write it on your phone, your computer, your tablet. Whatever works Write it down. Begin to see yourself having it, achieving it, creating it. Willpower, trust, faith. Don't tell yourself you can't. Don't allow anyone else to tell you you can't. Thank you for listening. If you want to find out more information about my guest, just look at the show notes. All of the links are there. And remember to roll with peace in mind.